Today we are going over the manhwa, The Abandoned Empress. The previous parts are linked in the description. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps a lot. In the last episode, Aristia is making the most of her newly restarted life. She's the center of attention at her home and at the palace. Aristia is being very careful to use her wisdom for good, but will people catch on to the fact that she's not a regular child? Find out now. A young Ruvellus is alone in the palace garden and he is crying. He stands for a moment before being approached by a beautiful woman with red hair. She offers him a hand, and the two take a walk through the garden. It seems that we are in a memory of Ruvellus, and the woman's name is Aristia La Monique, and she was the woman of the Monique household. According to Ruvellus, she was warm and kind, and the two seemed close. Slowly, the memory changes, and we see Ruvellus kneeling at Jeremiah's bedside. She looks sick. Her face is pale, and her eyes are dark, and it really doesn't look too good. She makes Ruvellus promise to take care of her daughter, and Ruvellus begs her to wake up as her eyes slowly slide shut. Suddenly, Ruvellus is shaken. We are back in the present, and Ruvellus' attendant asks if the young prince is okay. Ruvellus assures him that he is fine, and it is revealed that the emperor wants to speak to his son. The emperor wants to have tea with Ruvellus, but Ruvellus is confused. The emperor usually only wants to see Ruvellus if it is truly important, so a tea date is very out of character. In the garden, Ruvellus spots Aristia. He notes how much she looks like her mother, Aristia La Monique. He confronts her, asking why she is once again in the palace garden. Aristia says nothing, as she is still afraid of Ruvellus. However, Aristia gathers her courage and tells the young prince that the emperor asked for her company in the garden that day as well. The tea party is awkward, as you could probably expect. Ruvellus notices how scared Aristia is of him, and he wonders what he could have done to her. Aristia shakes so much her hands drop her tea, all over Ruvellus. Ruvellus gets up and storms off. He cannot talk to Aristia at all, and he is frustrated that she has a good relation with her father, his father, and positive recognition, and Ruvellus himself does not have this. Aristia watches him storm off, and she wonders if she'll ever be free from the trauma of her old life. Later, Elendis finds Aristia after training. He sees that she's exhausted, and he asks her what happened at the palace. Aristia doesn't say anything, and Elendis reassures her that she can rely on him no matter what. So cute. As the two go inside to take a break from the heat, Aristia is stopped by Sir League. He warns her about getting too close to Elendis due to his house. He is from a house of officers, and they disagree with the knights often. Sir League continues that court politics get confusing with emotions in the way, and getting close to anyone can sway her loyalties. As Aristia goes inside, she considers League's words. She knows he is right, but she is sad that in the back of her mind, she cannot trust her friend. While they are spending time together, Aristia asks Elendis what he would like to be when he grows up. Elendis responds that he might want to be an administrative official. Aristia is disappointed, as she knows how this will turn out when they grow up. Elendis thinks that Aristia is upset that he will not become a knight. Aristia denies this, and she is so flustered she drops a book, which causes many more to fall out of a bookshelf. In the pile of books, Aristia finds a book describing a knight making a vow to his lady. Elendis backs Aristia up into the bookshelf, and he calls her selfish. He asks if she only wants a knight to look up to her, and he asks if an oath of love is too difficult. He wonders what would happen if one person in the oath loved another, or even loved the wrong person, but Aristia cuts the conversation short, not wanting to discuss it anymore. Elendis suggests a game of chess, and as they play, he notices that Aristia is upset. Aristia notices that her quietness makes it seem as though she really wanted a knight, and she is quick to reassure that she just thought the fairy tale was silly. Elendis doesn't believe her, and he decides to swear himself to Aristia as his lady. Aristia accepts, despite knowing that she needs to make distance with him. Elendis is so excited to have an official lady, and he tells Aristia that they both have much work to do before their coming of age. The chapter opens 1 year previously. Papa Monique has given Aristia a sword, and it's bigger than her. Aww. As Aristia waddles away, Papa Monique wonders if she likes the sword. The knights around Papa Monique give him a look, but no one says anything about the gift until Sir Monique hits the palace. Duke Arkent thinks that it is hilarious that the little girl was gifted a sword for her birthday, but the men don't know that Aristia is super excited to have her own weapon. Kirian takes the advice of the knights and gets Aristia a doll as well, but Aristia is unsure of the present, as even in her past life, she never truly played with dolls. Papa Monique is a little upset that his daughter might not like the gift, but Aristia assures him that she loves it. Kirian invites his daughter outside, but she soon finds out that she is tagging along to work with Sir Monique. Along the way, Sir Monique is interrupted by the eldest son of the house, Ross. He says that an accident during training requires Sir Monique's attention, and Aristia is sent to her father's office to wait for him. In the office, Aristia thinks on how thoughtful her father has been to get her gifts on her birthdays. She goes to find Lena, who would know how to better take care of her doll. However, as soon as she leaves, she bumps into Prince Ruvelis. Aristia tries to pay her respects to the prince, as his attendant is there and she cannot get away with staying silent. However, as she goes to curtsy, Aristia almost drops her doll. She catches it, but she's embarrassed that she has shown improper behavior in front of the prince. Ruvelis doesn't acknowledge anything, instead opting to ask for the Marquess Monique. Aristia tells the prince that an accident in training has taken her father's attention, and so Ruvelis decides to wait for Marquess Monique with Aristia in her father's office. The wait is awkward, to say the least. Aristia gets overwhelmed by the silence, and Ruvelis thinks back on a time where he found Aristia, very young and very alone, in the woods crying. Ruvelis tries to make conversation, noting how Aristia still likes dolls after all these years. Thankfully, the awkwardness is cut by Marquess Monique and Duke Ruth de Verita coming through the door. Papa Monique is surprised to see the prince in his office, and Ruvelis explains that he has come to oversee things in his father's stead. Duke Ruth is left with Aristia, and he is surprised that a girl so mature for her age is playing with a doll. He tells her that her plan from last spring to tax luxury goods helped the kingdom overcome a drought, and Aristia is glad to hear it. Aristia is surprised to see Ruvelis looking at her intently. All the while, Duke Verita comments on how brilliant she is. Ruvelis says that he is happy to have a fiancé who is so bright, but Aristia is bothered by his demeanor. Papa Monique leaves with his daughter in tow, while she wonders why the prince hates her so much. Later that day, Aristia trains hard, setting her goal to escape in her mind. Aristia is still training hard, and Elendis is worried about why his friend is so anxious. He wants her to tell him why she is so on edge, but Aristia can't find the words. He simply tells her that she can always rely on him, and he leaves it at that. They're such sweet kids. On New Year's, an opera is performed to commemorate the Emperor's 25th year of rule. Aristia watches the play with Ruvelis and the Emperor asks Aristia how she's been. He comments on how small Aristia's family is, as her father must sit alone at the opera since she is sitting with the royal family. The Emperor exclaims that it was a pity Aristia's mother died so young, and Aristia notices Ruvelis watching her reaction. Aristia doesn't know what to do. She doesn't remember her mother, and no one ever talks about her. As Aristia thinks on how to respond, the Emperor changes the subject. The rumor of Tia's doll has started to spread, and the Emperor remarks that Aristia was said to look very cute with her doll. Emperor Merkin asks his son if Aristia was as lovely as the rumors said, and Ruvelis says yes. Aristia panics, not knowing what the prince can mean by this. Her train of thought is interrupted by the opera. On stage next to an actor playing Prince Ruvelis is a woman playing Aristia. Tia is surprised to see herself in the play, but suddenly, a chandelier falls onto the stage. Aristia notices that the chandelier fell right as the actors were about to join hands. She takes it as a sign that the marriage between her and Ruvelis is doomed. Another actor walks on stage. He explains that even a chandelier must bow to the future sun and moon of the Empire. The audience takes this explanation and runs with it. They all clap and cheer. Aristia wonders if the royal family feels the same way, but she thinks that as long as the prince hates her still, whatever they think really won't matter. That night, Aristia wakes up to hear her father's voice. He tells her that he will be back soon, as he has urgent matters at the border. Aristia remembers the moment from her past memories, and she begs him not to leave her. Aristia wakes up a second time, realizing that she's still a child, and it was just a nightmare. Lena bursts into the door and informs Aristia that the Duke Arkent is at her home. Aristia joins Arkent and her father. Papa Monique informs her that he must go away to a far land for an expedition. Arkent informs her that the awful drought she predicted is coming this year, and her father must travel out to suppress riots in outer lands of the kingdom where the luxury tax didn't work out. Aristia is afraid to be alone in the kingdom without her father. She is afraid that her father will not come back, much like how he didn't come back in the past. Marquess Monique orders Duke Arkent to take good care of Aristia in his absence. Arkent agrees and suggests a farewell banquet to be held in the Marquess's honor. Aristia walks away from the meeting with the Duke's son. He asks how the sword training is going and comments that she must be a fast learner with her father teaching her. Aristia agrees, but her heart isn't in it. She's frightened, the poor girl. But the Duke Arkent's father assures her that his brother and father will watch over her. Aristia asks what type of person Carcian, the young brother, is. The response she receives is that he isn't a bad person once you get to know him, and Aristia wonders if the family is within good terms of each other. Later, at the Verita mansion, Papa Monique and Aristia are welcomed to the banquet. Aristia goes to see Elendis, but Kyrian doesn't seem to be pleased about this. As she is led to Elendis, Aristia thinks on how alone she will be once her father and his knights leave. She also wonders how she will manage her studies, as well as attending the mansion's daily affairs. But she is soon pulled out of her thoughts by a loud crash. A maid runs out of a large room, and she's crying. Aristia wonders what has happened, but she is led into the room by a maid nevertheless. Inside, Elendis is there, and he is different. He's angry, and his eyes are cold. However, once he realizes that Aristia is there, his mood instantly brightens. What is wrong with this kid? He explains that the loud sound was just a maid dropping tea. He's excited to show her around, and he takes her to see the garden. It's such a pretty day, but the pleasantness is cut short. Elendis is leaving. Elendis explains that his father needs help with the riots, and Elendis is stronger than his eldest brother. Aristia is upset that she is losing everyone around her so soon, but Elendis thinks that she is still pondering the situation with the maid from inside. He thinks that he might have gone too far, and he decides to give Aristia a kiss on the forehead. He promises to come back and tells her to stay well and to stay away from other boys. The next day, Aristia goes to see her father off. She gives him a handmade good luck charm. Aww. He gives her his cufflinks in return, letting her know that he has an extra pair when she starts to worry about his uniform. She tries to think of what to say to her father, but she is interrupted by the rest of the knights trying to give her their cufflinks as well. She bids them all farewell, and for the next few days, tries to get used to being the responsible one of the mansion. Lena suggests that perhaps Aristia can go and get some air by going shopping, and Aristia agrees to go. Lena is a little surprised, to say the least, when Aristia ends up looking at weapons and not dresses. Lena leaves to go get a treat for her lady, and while Aristia waits, she overhears a loud, red-headed boy talk with the shop owner. She wonders what family he could belong to, until she looks down and sees a sword that looks like her father's. And here's where we'll stop. Who is the mystery boy? Why do I keep leaving you on cliffhangers? Find out in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to like this video and comment what you thought. We love to hear from you. Until next time, have a great day.